Have you ever wondered why you always seem to attract manipulators, deceivers, and those who drain your spirit? Have you ever felt trapped in a never-ending battle against people who twist reality, distort truth, and weaponize love to control you? This is not a coincidence. You were not placed in these battles because you are weak. You were not chosen to suffer endlessly under the hands of the narcissist. You were placed here because you are God's warrior, handpicked to destroy the last stronghold of deception that keeps them in power. When God anoints someone to carry his truth, no force in hell can manipulate them. That's why the narcissist fears you. They have spent their entire life constructing a kingdom built on illusions, bending reality to their will, and feeding off the weakness of others. But you refuse to bow. You refuse to be controlled, and that terrifies them. At first, they try to break you, gaslighting you into questioning your own memory, twisting your words, and making you feel like the problem. They test your boundaries, searching for weaknesses, trying to manipulate you like they have done to countless others before. But here's the truth. You are not like the others. There is something different about you, something they cannot understand. No matter how hard they push, no matter how many times they attack, something deep inside of you refuses to bend to deception. It is the Spirit of God within you, the unshakable force that sees through lies, that recognizes manipulation, that cannot be bought, broken, or silenced. And this is what they never expected. When God chooses someone to stand against darkness, he does not leave them defenseless. He equips them with discernment, resilience, and unbreakable truth, a truth that not only exposes the narcissist, but annihilates the last hope they had of maintaining control. You were never meant to be a victim. You were never meant to spend your life second-guessing yourself, walking on eggshells, or shrinking under the weight of their deception. You were chosen to break the illusion, to dismantle the lies, and to walk in complete and total freedom. This is why they fight so hard to keep you confused, because once you see through them, once you recognize the power God has placed inside you, their reign is over. And if this message is reaching you now, it's because the time has come. Keep reading, because today you will uncover the 5 undeniable signs that God has chosen you to annihilate the narcissist's last hope of control. If you refuse to be controlled, comment below, "I stand in truth," and declare your victory today. 1. You carry the truth that shatters the narcissist's illusion. When you walk in God's truth, you become a force that cannot be deceived. But for the narcissist, deception is not just a tool, it is their entire existence. A narcissist doesn't just tell lies, they are the lie. They build a world where they are always right, always the victim, always in control. They manipulate reality, twisting facts and emotions, not just to deceive others, but to sustain their fragile sense of superiority. Without deception, they have nothing. Without people who believe their illusion, they are nothing. They rely on confusion, secrecy, and manipulation, keeping their victims in a fog of self-doubt. They are masters of illusion, just as Satan was in the Garden of Eden, whispering distortions, bending truth to serve their agenda. Their power thrives in darkness, in environments where no one challenges them. But then you came along. Unlike others, you resist their manipulation. You may not have always understood why, but deep inside, something never fully accepted their version of reality. You sensed something was off, a hidden dishonesty, a distortion you could not ignore. That is discernment, God's gift to you. Your spirit rejects their deception. Your soul refuses to absorb their lies. Even without evidence, you just know when something isn't right. That unshakable clarity is what terrifies them the most. A narcissist operates by testing boundaries, distorting facts, and seeing how much they can get away with, they do not break you all at once. Instead, they chip away at your reality piece by piece, gaslighting, rewriting history, making you question yourself. But when they try this with you, something unexpected happens. You push back. You question, you see through them. And for the narcissist, that is terrifying. The moment you refuse to accept their twisted reality, their illusion begins to crack. And when a narcissist feels their power slipping, they panic. They attack your confidence. You're imagining things. You're too sensitive. You don't remember it correctly. They will try to rewrite history, making you doubt your own experiences. But here's where their plan fails, because you are standing on solid ground. The narcissist expects you to break under pressure. They have done this before, countless times, to others who eventually gave in. But you are different. You refuse to be swayed. You refuse to second-guess what you know is true. And the moment they realize they cannot control your mind, they become desperate. They lash out, accusing you, smearing your name, trying to turn others against you. They don't attack because you have wronged them. They attack because you have exposed them. But here is the truth they refuse to accept. They have already lost. Because a narcissist's greatest fear is not being confronted, it is being exposed, and you see them for who they truly are. You recognize the darkness behind their deception. You refuse to play their game. You carry the light of God that exposes every lie. And so their power crumbles. But this is just the beginning. The moment they realize they cannot manipulate you, they escalate their attack. They will try to shake your spirit, wear you down, and make you doubt yourself more than ever before, because your very existence disrupts their kingdom of lies. And that leads us to the next undeniable sign. Your spirit is a storm that shakes the foundations of their deception. 2. Your spirit disrupts their manipulation. When a narcissist crosses paths with someone they cannot control, their entire world begins to unravel. They are not just deceivers, they are architects of control. They do not see people as individuals with souls, thoughts, and emotions. They see them as tools, extensions of their will, mere pawns to be used for validation, power, and ego. But what happens when they encounter someone who refuses to be controlled? They panic. They have spent their entire lives perfecting the art of manipulation, knowing exactly how to push and pull, twist and bend, deceive and dominate. But you are an anomaly. You do not break as others have, and this terrifies them. A narcissist is not self-sustaining. They do not have true inner strength, nor do they build their own foundation. They exist by controlling others, feeding off attention, admiration, and submission. The Bible warns us about such people. For such people are false apostles, deceitful workers, masquerading as apostles of Christ. And no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. 2 Corinthians 11:13-14. Narcissists do not need fists to dominate. They use words. They manipulate reality, twist truth, and gaslight others into submission. They do not just want obedience, they want absolute control over your perception of reality. And as long as someone plays their game, they thrive. But then you come along, and suddenly their tricks don't work the way they used to. You question them. You hesitate to believe their distorted version of events. You stand firm in what you know to be true. And in that moment, the narcissist experiences something they are not used to, fear. Because if they cannot manipulate you, they have no power over you. At first, they are intrigued by your resistance. They see it as a challenge, believing they can still find a way to bend your will. So they begin their systematic attack. They probe your wounds. They search for past traumas, weaknesses, and insecurities, anything they can use to shake your foundation. They gaslight you. They distort reality to make you doubt yourself. They rewrite history twist conversations and claim you misunderstood them. They play mind games. One moment they act as if they care. The next, they withdraw affection. They keep you walking on eggshells, making you question whether you are the problem. But despite all their efforts, something is different this time, because you don't break. You are not like the others they have manipulated. They expect you to fold, to second-guess yourself, to bend under the pressure of their deception. They are used to watching people shrink, submit, and surrender, but you stand firm. Be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. Ephesians 6:10-11. And now, for the first time, the narcissist is faced with an opponent they cannot conquer. Their greatest fear is unfolding before their eyes. Someone who sees through them, who refuses to be controlled, who will not accept their illusion as truth. You are God's disruption to their kingdom of lies. You carry something they do not understand, divine clarity, and that clarity is their undoing. But what happens when they realize they cannot break you? What happens when every tactic, every lie, every form of manipulation fails? They escalate their attack. And that brings us to the next undeniable sign. When they lose control over your mind, they wage war on your entire being. 3. You endure their attacks without breaking. There comes a moment when the narcissist realizes something terrifying. You are not like the others they have conquered. They have tried every deception, every manipulation, every trick in their arsenal, yet you stand firm. You refuse to believe their lies. You refuse to be controlled. And when they see that their grip on you is slipping, they resort to desperation. Because for the narcissist, control is everything. And if they can't manipulate your mind, they will do everything in their power to break your spirit. A narcissist thrives in secrecy. As long as they can distort reality, twist perceptions, and operate behind the scenes, they maintain their power. But when someone sees them for what they truly are, their entire structure begins to collapse. And so they escalate. They no longer try to win you over with false kindness or charm. That mask is gone. Now their goal is destruction. If they cannot make you submit, they will punish you. They smear your name. They will spread rumors, twist facts, and paint you as the villain. They will go to great lengths to turn others against you, convincing your friends, family, or church community that you are unstable, irrational, or even dangerous. They launch personal attacks. Since they can no longer control you mentally, they attack your identity. They will accuse you, shame you, and exploit your past mistakes, hoping to make you feel small, guilty, or unworthy. They isolate you. They want you alone, abandoned, and doubting yourself, because an isolated warrior is easier to defeat. But here's what they fail to realize. You do not stand alone. 3.2, you may be isolated, but God has not forsaken you. There is a painful reality that comes with standing for truth. It often leads to rejection. History is filled with God's chosen warriors who were isolated, misunderstood, and persecuted before stepping into their calling. Joseph was betrayed by his brothers and thrown into prison before God raised him to power in Egypt. Moses was driven into the wilderness before God called him to deliver Israel. David was hunted by Saul before he became king. The pattern is clear. Before breakthrough comes the battle. Before elevation comes isolation. Before victory comes the test. The narcissist believes they are destroying you by turning people against you. But in reality, God is setting you apart. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. The attacks you endure are not a sign of weakness. They are a sign that you are being refined. The narcissist believes they are crushing you. But in reality, God is using this battle to strengthen you, and one day, the very people who turn their backs on you will see the truth. The narcissist set out to destroy you. They expected you to break, to beg, to surrender. But instead, you grew stronger. Every false accusation refined your discernment. Every attempt to shame you strengthened your identity in Christ. Every betrayal pushed you closer to God's presence. And now something unexpected happens. The narcissist, who once saw themselves as invincible, begins to fear you. They see that their weapons no longer work. Their insults no longer wound. Their schemes no longer shake your faith. No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against you, in judgment you shall condemn. Isaiah 54:17. You have become untouchable. Not because the attacks have stopped, but because they no longer hold power over you. And this is where the narcissist faces their greatest nightmare. For the first time, they are fully exposed. And that leads us to their ultimate defeat, when they realize that you now see them for exactly what they are. 4. You expose their spiritual emptiness. The greatest deception of the narcissist is not the lies they tell others, it is the lie they tell themselves. They have spent their entire existence constructing a false identity, a grand illusion that convinces the world and themselves that they are powerful, superior, and untouchable. They have built a carefully crafted image of success, strength, and control, all while hiding the terrifying emptiness within them. But then you came along, and unlike others who accepted their illusion, you saw them for what they truly are. And that is their greatest fear. The narcissist does not just manipulate others, they manipulate themselves. They construct a false reality because the real one is too unbearable to face. Every lie they tell, every mask they wear, every person they control is an attempt to escape the truth, that deep inside they are empty. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it. Matthew 16:25. But unlike those around them who are too blind, too afraid, or too weak to see it, you do. Because you walk in truth, because you are rooted in God's Spirit, you are not deceived by their mask. You see the cracks in their armor. You hear the emptiness in their words. You sense the spiritual void within them. And this terrifies them. Because in you, they see something they cannot comprehend. Someone who does not need validation from lies. Someone who is whole without controlling others. Someone who stands in truth even when the whole world stands against them. Your very presence is a mirror they cannot escape. They can lie to others. They can lie to themselves, but they cannot lie to you. And when forced to look at themselves through your eyes, they see what they have spent their entire lives running from, a hollow, desperate soul. At first, they tried to break you. They tried gaslighting you, twisting reality, and making you doubt your own mind. They tried isolating you, convincing others that you were unstable. They tried attacking your identity, calling you crazy, rebellious, or unforgiving, but nothing worked, because no matter how many attacks they launched, no matter how many times they tried to distort the truth, you refused to bow. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. John 8:32. And here is the irony. The more they fought to control you, the more they revealed their own weakness. The more they tried to deceive, the more their own mask began to slip. The more they attacked you, the more people began to see their true nature, because you did not fight them with deception, you fought them with truth, and truth is the one weapon they cannot defeat. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. And so they panic because the illusion is crumbling. For the first time, they sense the power shifting, and it is shifting in your favor. A narcissist's greatest fear is not being confronted, it is being exposed. It is the realization that no matter how much they manipulate, no matter how much they fight, no matter how much they deceive, truth will always win. And now they stand completely exposed before you. They know you see them for what they are. They know they can never control you again. They know their deception no longer works. And that is when the true defeat happens, because you do not need to destroy them. You do not need to seek revenge. You do not even need to convince others of the truth. The truth speaks for itself, and the narcissist is left standing in the ruins of their own self-deception. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Psalm 27:1. They thought you would be their victim, but instead you became their downfall. Because truth does not need to fight to win. Truth simply stands, and as you stand unshaken, unbroken, and completely free, the narcissist is left with only one thing: themselves. But your victory is not just in exposing them. Your true victory comes when you walk away, completely free, completely whole, completely untouchable. And that leads us to the final and greatest sign. When you no longer just resist the narcissist, you step into the fullness of God's destiny for you. 5. Your freedom is the final blow that destroys them. The narcissist has fought hard to control you. They have twisted reality, played mind games, and launched personal attacks. They have used every weapon at their disposal, hoping to break you, to keep you trapped in their cycle of manipulation. But what they never expected, what they never even considered, was that one day you would stop caring, and that is when they truly lose, because the narcissist does not need your love. They do not need your approval. They do not even need you to be in their life. They just need you to react to them. A narcissist does not just control through presence. They control through influence. Even after you walk away physically, they count on the fact that you will still be thinking about them. They need you to still be angry, to still be replaying conversations, to still be mentally and emotionally entangled in their web. As long as you are reacting to them, whether in love, hate, or resentment, they still hold power over you, and that is why they push you to the edge, knowing that even if you leave, your mind will still be trapped in their games. But one day, something changes. One day, you wake up and you don't feel the weight anymore. You don't replay the conversations. You don't feel the need to explain yourself. You don't feel the anger, the pain, the frustration. You are free. And in that moment, the narcissist's last stronghold crumbles into dust. At first, you might not even notice the change, but then something happens. You hear their name, and instead of rage or pain, you feel nothing. Someone mentions them, and you no longer feel the need to prove anything. You look back at what they did, and instead of bitterness, you feel peace. This is the moment they never saw coming, because as long as you were reacting, they had power. But now, they are irrelevant. You do not need them to apologize. You do not need them to acknowledge what they did. You do not need closure, because your healing never depended on them in the first place. Whom the Son sets free is free indeed. John 8:36. Freedom does not mean forgetting. It does not mean excusing their actions. Freedom means they no longer define you. Your identity is no longer tied to what they did to you. Your mind is no longer occupied by their chaos. Your heart is no longer chained to the pain they inflicted. You are no longer a survivor. You are victorious. The narcissist never believed you would break free. They assumed that no matter how strong you were, you would always carry some part of them with you: anger, resentment, pain. But now as you walk forward fully healed, fully whole, they are faced with the one reality they cannot bear. They have no power left over you. They cannot manipulate what they can no longer reach. They cannot control someone who is already free, and that is their greatest defeat. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. 2 Corinthians 3:17. They built their world on the idea that they could trap, break, and control. But now they see the truth. You have stepped into your destiny. You have reclaimed your identity. You have walked into the life God intended for you. And they are left behind in the prison of their own making, because while you move forward in purpose, joy, and peace, they remain exactly where they always were, lost in their illusions, enslaved by their own lies. And you never belonged in their prison to begin with. If you have walked this journey and found freedom, declare your victory in the comments. I have won. And don't forget to share this message, because someone out there needs to hear this truth today. Conclusion. This is more than a personal battle. It's a spiritual war. This journey was never just about escaping the narcissist's control. It was never just about healing from their manipulation. This was a spiritual battle, one that you were chosen to fight. The enemy does not use just physical weapons. He uses deception, confusion, and oppression. Narcissists are tools in the enemy's hand, seeking to break down God's warriors, distort their identity, and pull them away from their divine calling. But God chose you, not just to endure, not just to survive, but to overcome and destroy the stronghold of deception. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. Your freedom is not just for you. It is a testimony for others who are still trapped in the web of lies. When you break free, when you stand in truth, you become a beacon of light in a world filled with darkness. And the enemy trembles when a child of God steps fully into their anointing. You were not just chosen to escape the narcissist, you were chosen to annihilate their influence. You were not just chosen to survive, you were chosen to rise in power. You were not just chosen to fight, you were chosen to win. If this message has given you strength, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this truth today. And if you declare your victory, comment below, I am free.